My name is Tony Morales. I'm a co-founder and chairman of Prepory. I like salsa dancing and long walks on the beach. No, I'm just kidding. I have had a really great career in education starting over a decade ago when I got to co-found an ed tech business that went from inception to 9-figure scale, which is a really formative experience. I also had the opportunity to work in admissions at an Ivy League university, the University of Pennsylvania, and was also faculty at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, teaching at both the undergrad and the executive levels. The crown jewel of what I've done with Time on Earth is Prepory. Daniel and I got to take this company from an idea into a multinational organization where we serve tens of thousands of humans across the world, help them navigate US college admissions, find professions that serve them well, and be the best versions of themselves.
I'm Daniel, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Prepory. I have the pleasure of leading the team of best college admissions professionals across the globe. Before Prepory, I worked in Congress, House of Representatives, and across several law offices. Now we work with over 14,000 students at Prepory. We've had the opportunity to work with families from over 41 different countries, and every day dedicate ourselves to making our students better than they were before they came to us. So Tony and I actually known each other for a really long time. We went to a K-12 small charter school in South Florida. Tony started there when he was in 3rd grade, and I started there when I was in 5th grade. So we've known each other since elementary school, sort of, I guess, seen every phase of each other: puberty, high school, college, the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of the good, though. When he was, about to graduate from Penn, he had been working on Prepory, working with a handful of students in China, in the US, and starting to see some good success from the clients that he was working with. At the time, I was on the trajectory to go to law school. I wanted to be an attorney, really dedicate myself to policy, law, political science, and Tony called me one day and was like, hey, that Prepory thing that I've been working on, I really want to formalize it. I really want to scale this and grow this. And I said, oh, that's awesome, wonderful. And he was like, yeah, and there's no one I trust more in this world than you to help me do that.
I do think that there are some moments in life where you get a really strong intuition about something, and you don't always know where this came from or how it came to you, but it's just obvious. And when you can't shake it, you got to listen to it. So I was so sure, and I don't know how, that this is the guy I needed to convince to do this with me. It was just like an abundantly clear and obvious decision, which made my persistence flow quite naturally. So growing up in the high school that we went to together, the charter school, every classroom would have the mission, the vision, and the values of the school on the wall. And I remember thinking how silly it was. Like, nobody read this. I went there for 10 years. I couldn't have recited them myself. I thought these are just like, prop ideas that are left like furniture to idly linger. Fast forward in time, starting a company, we realized pretty early on that there's going to be a lot of people who join this journey and make a lot of decisions that are super consequential and that we're not in the loop on, because there are just too many decisions being made every day and incredibly high stakes work. When a family trusts you with their child, it's just hard to imagine something more special to parents when they're choosing a company. So we realized that the best thing we could do to help make sure that the quality of decisions is in line with that same spirit of excellence and positivity and professionalism and adaptability that Daniel and I came together and made Prepory with, and was of course client-centered, was to enumerate our values and spread them radically to our team, evidence them in our own behavior, celebrate them when our team does something that's so noteworthy that it deserves to be exalted because of its alignment with our values. Every single time we have a full team gathering, we go through our values over again. We say the one area where we don't value diversity at Prepory is with respect to values, by which I mean, if there's someone on this team who one day decides not to be client-centered, they won't last very long on this team. The same is true for wanting to do excellent work. The same is true for being positive. The same is true for being professional. And the same is true for being adaptable. So that's really sacred to us, and we think it's how we've been able to not just be big, but still be the best. Second thing is accountability. After I said I'm going to do a thing, I'm going to show up and receive the results of that thing. That can mean mourning with a family when they got rejected from Harvard Early Action and this was the most important thing for them, and also saying, I did my best, you did your best. We should feel proud of that and know that this isn't done yet. You're going to go on to live an awesome life. You got regular decision. Let's rally. Let's go hard. Let's make sure that your best foot stays forward until the very end. And then the final aspect of professionalism, I think, means showing up to a professional community. It means learning and always seeking to master your craft, recognizing that that's a pursuit and not a destination. That also means connecting. We do retreats, and it's so important to us to have maximum 2 hours of work time per day. So there's 22 hours of let's get to know each other, let's laugh together, let's tell stories, let's take videos, let's see this person dance because they love breakdancing, and let's listen to that one's jokes, let's play cards competitively. Let's really just come together, connect, because we know it'll make our whole team better. College counseling is an opportunity to affect people at a really pivotal point in their lives. When someone starts working with us, often it's in the 9th grade. When they're just entering adolescence, they have the sense of awareness to what's out there in the world, and often a sense of a lack of clarity over what they can do in the world. I was talking to a colleague once who's a former admissions officer at Yale, and she made the great point that anytime she reads a student's application who says, "I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 4 years old," what they're admitting is, "I'm relying on the judgment of a 4-year-old to make a really major life decision," right? Which is sort of funny and silly. But if we come in this time in life where you actually do have the faculties, the cognitive maturity, the presence of mind to understand your options and to understand yourself, we can make a huge impact on the direction of someone's life. And that gets to the second part of why college admissions, which is that college is a massive inflection point. When a family comes to us and says, "My kid wants to go to Stanford more than they want oxygen," we'll receive it and we'll be sincere in understanding that this is a concern and interest. But we know, and we think they know deeply, that you actually don't want Stanford. You may never have even visited Stanford's campus. What you want is to live a good life, to be healthy, to have a community, to feel stimulated, to be able to contribute, to know that you have potential that you can unleash to this world, and you want to do it as highly and greatly as possible. And that's what college represents in America. College is the vehicle for mobility. It's the vehicle for directing your life in an intentional way. And so it's a crucial time to go from having potential to being promised and given to something great in this world. So it might sound like, oh, you're just helping kids, but we think we're creating the world, and it's really cool.
Yeah. I think for me, it's about community. I think the communities that I've had, being able to know Tony since elementary school, middle school, high school, that community that I had in school has had massive impacts in my life, giving me the opportunity to start this business, to work with the best and brightest people in our space, and just live a happy and fruitful life. And I think college is that. It is a community, and that's what makes US schools specifically the best higher education system in the world, because there are communities of like-minded students, all who are ambitious, who want similar things, all who are sort of discovering themselves, and being able to help students be a part of their community, find their community, and then also get to create our own community in our team, being able to work with people that have dedicated their careers to this space or to education, who are passionate about supporting students, staying nimble, learning more, I think is the best part about what we created here at Prepory. In addition to working with individual families and parents and students across the globe, we also partner with institutions. Sometimes those institutions are high schools, other times they're nonprofit foundations, sort of centers that just serve communities of students. A few years ago, we partnered with a high school in Osceola County. It's a pretty low-income community, low-income high school. And the school brought us on to be able to sort of show their kids something that they otherwise wouldn't have known about, otherwise wouldn't have had exposure to. We started working with that school when they only had a 9th through 11th grade. They didn't have seniors yet. We met a junior at the time who I think we piqued her interest. She started asking questions after we delivered workshops at her school, would call and email the members of our team that worked with that school with questions, and just made sure that she was receiving support throughout this college admissions process. We built a really great relationship with the student, and when she was a senior, she applied to a bunch of high-flying schools that ultimately kids in her community never really applied to. And we were so excited that when she was a senior, she got admitted off the wait list to Columbia, and was the first student in her county in 27 years to get into an Ivy League school. So it wasn't just an impact on this student who came from really humble background, but also her entire high school, kids being able to say, hey, kids like me do get to take up space in places like that.
So listen, if you're a client or a future client, you're hearing this now, you might be surprised by what I'm about to say. Prepory is not really about college admissions. It's not really about career coaching. I know that's what you think the service you're buying is, and it's a service we're going to deliver, but what this is really about is helping people to navigate the highest stakes moments of their lives to go from where they are to where they'll flourish. And that's what brings us joy. We started in college admissions in the US because this is the avenue to creating a life in our country. It's go to the right college, study the right thing, and doors will open that could not otherwise. But it's not the only moment like that. The move from college to your first job is another transition that's high stakes and consequential, and we help there too. And later in life, you have professionals who get an at-bat for their first executive role, or professionals who are on the market to be on the board of directors of a company somewhere. Our vision for Prepory is to hug people's lives and to say at every moment, for every one of those high stakes inflection points, we want to be there for you. We want to help you to do your best. It just happens that the fun one, the one that we do really well as a starting place, is college admissions.